welcome back everybody. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Addicted to Gear. Today marks the somber anniversary of the loss of Eddie Van Halen. There's no disputing the fact that Eddie was iconic in what he did. You know, he revolutionized guitar playing for so many people. He encouraged so many people to play guitar, pick up guitar, and he was one of a kind. And today is the 1-year anniversary of his passing. So I thought it'd be appropriate, number one, to commemorate him with this video. But at the same time, I wanted to talk about the recent announcement by David Lee Roth. Now, David and Ed were brothers in terms of, you know, starting Van Halen, playing together for all those years, and just putting the stamp of approval on rock and roll and the crazy antics that they were so famous for. Eddie Van Halen, you know, was tremendous in what he did, but as a sideman, I think David Lee Roth was equally as, you know, unpredictable and really the poster boy for the rock and roll lifestyle. I love David for what he is. He's quirky, he's crazy, you know, he's out there, but he's definitely one of a kind as well. Recently, David Lee Roth announced that he was retiring, and that came as somewhat of a shock, not so much in the fact that he's retiring, because he's not a spring chicken anymore. What kind of surprised me was the hidden messages within his announcement. If you listen to the announcement, you'll notice that, you know, he told a funny story about Van Halen and how they would scrape together their money after, you know, playing countless gigs. They were getting paid peanuts at the time, and they could barely scrape together, you know, $120 at the end of a week or something like that between them. And they would go to Denny's and, you know, walk into Denny's at 3 in the morning and just order the entire menu. Now, Dave referred to this as the Saturday Night Supper Club, and basically this was the feast for their hard-earned efforts during the week and just the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into their music. This was kind of their reward for all of that. So that was a really, you know, heartwarming story, and really made you better appreciate the efforts that they put in at the beginning. You know, they were definitely not doing it for the money. So David basically announced that he would be throwing in the shoes, that he would be finishing his 5 shows in Vegas, and that would be it. This would be the only announcement he would make officially. So why is that alarming? Well, it's the way that he presented the information that kind of rang some bells in my mind. He mentioned a couple of things that seemed to be alarming and kind of point towards his health situation. So the first thing he mentioned that was kind of odd was that his doctors and handlers had compelled him to avoid going on stage, and that every time he would do so, he would endanger his future. Seems a little bit strange to say something like that. He went on to say that he understands that time is short and his time is probably even shorter, which leads me to believe that there might be some health issues there that he's dealing with, hopefully not what we think. He went on to say that the Marlboro Man may have gotten him, which leads me to again suspect that he might be dealing with some kind of cancer. He went on to mention, hey Ed, the objects in the rearview mirror might probably be me. So what does this all mean? We can't really be sure at this point. Nobody really knows except for Dave, and it seems like he's keeping things pretty private at the moment. One thing's for sure is that Dave was never a man of a few words. He always had really great stories, and he always elaborated the stories to be very clear. And it seems like this very important announcement is very short and sweet and not like Dave at all. So I'm thinking, you know, he does definitely want to keep things private for the moment. So I want to send out a little message to Dave. Dave, whatever it is that you're dealing with at this point in your life, we understand you need to do what's best for you. Your fans out there love you. You're Diamond Dave. We support you. And if it is something that you're dealing with health-wise, something serious, well, we send our love and our hugs. Hopefully everything will be just fine. And, you know, in a few years from now, maybe we'll see you back on stage at some point. But we're keeping our fingers crossed that everything is going to be fine. So that's it for this episode of Addicted to Gear. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Otherwise, you'll be missing other great updates like this. See you soon.